said, come through with your documents and your legal terms, Darla. Come through. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brandy Yvonne, here on my channel. Y'all know we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. It's Tuesday night, so we are talking Ohms Queen Sugar. Okay, this is season 7, episode 8. I believe it's titled Never to Be the Same. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, y'all, as you are viewing this content. Help the algorithm, okay? I support and appreciate at the same time. Sorry, I appreciate all y'all support. Y'all been coming through with the, likes, comments. Please don't forget to comment. Once you subscribe, also comment. Let me know you'll be tuning in. Some of y'all have done that. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate y'all. Much love to y'all. So, I've been missed y'all. I know I did miss Love and Marriage Huntsville. I ain't even got to watch the episode, y'all. That's how busy I've been. Like I told y'all last weekend was busy. I barely got Ready to Love done on Sunday. And I haven't even gotten a chance to sit down to watch Love and Marriage Huntsville from Saturday. So I hope to catch back up this Saturday with y'all, okay? So I hate to miss videos, but, life gets in the way sometimes. And I do have a regular 9 to 5 plus other things going on. But I am here for Queen Sugar. Y'all care about my busy life. Let's get into the episode. The episode was fire, okay? All caps fire. The episode was good. This episode was good. Go ahead, Ava DuVernay, okay? This episode was good. It definitely tied up a lot of loose ends, right? Okay, we got to the bottom of some things, completed a few storylines, right? So, episode starts out with, the storm is over, right? And so Ralph Angel and Micah go back home to where Darla and the baby is, and, he hugs her, and he asks how True made it through the night, and Darla does notice the bandage on his hand, and she was like, what happened? Everything okay? And he said, oh, it's fine. So, they hug it out and all that. And so then Ralph Angel gets a phone call from, I think his name is Mr. Harvell or Darnell. I can't think of his name now. But anyway, I wrote it down and I forgot it. His farm is flooding and is headed towards the co-op area. Okay, so he called Ralph Angel to get everybody down there to help stop the flooding of the farm, right? So Ralph Angel tells Darla, and Darla's like, oh, I gotta go check on the mail. Let's take 2 separate cars. And so then Ralph Angel's like, nah, we need to stay close. We need to stick together. Like, nah. So then she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go see if Miss Olivia can keep True. I'm thinking that's the neighbor lady that owned the property, right? So then Micah was like, you need to tell her. Ralph Angel's like, nah, I gotta think about this first. I gotta process this. You right. I just can't deal with this right now. He's like, one catastrophe at a time, okay? And I don't blame him, okay? Ralph Angel going through it. So then they get down to the co-op in the farm area. Ralph Angel is FEMA, okay? He giving orders left and right. He like, Hollywood, you got me on this. And by the people gonna be hungry. They gonna need you to go down to the kitchen. So Darla was over there making plans, trying to still get down to the meal, right? Ralph Angel came over there, was like, nah, we need some lunch. And Vi, can you get the deli or the diner together? And so then she was like, yeah, I got you, whatever you need. So then Billy's like, okay, I'll go help with that. And so then Darla was going to run down to the meal. Once again, Ralph Angel was like, no, I need y'all to be together. They need more help at the diner. I need you not to be out of each other's sight. And so then, and Vi, with that Harriet Winslow wig on, was like, I won't let her out of my sight. And so Ralph Angel was like looking at Darla crazy. Darla's looking at Ralph Angel crazy, like, what's happening here? So anyway, Ralph Angel was working hard. He was working harder than a Hebrew slave, y'all. He was doing the most. Like, Mike was looking at him like, dude, is you okay? You can tell he's getting all his aggression out in them sandbags, right? So he going through it. So then back down to the diner, right? Billie and Nova are talking. And so Nova was telling Billie how it was when Calvin came through and how she's proud of herself, that she's becoming the woman she wanted to be, because in most of those kind of scenarios, y'all know how Nova do. She'll cheat in a heartbeat. She said, the former me, I would cheat. I would give in to my lust. I would go with situations and I'd be faithful and all that. So I'm happy that I didn't give in to temptation this time. And Billie asked her, are you going to tell Dominic about what happened? And so Nova said, yeah, she's going to tell him because she has nothing to be ashamed of what she did, right? She said she didn't cross any of her own boundaries, so she's happy with herself. So finally, Nova, wasn't cheating, but I think she's gonna cheat with this lady from the high school, and we're gonna get to that. So anyway, excuse me. Then Billie was saying, Nova was asking Billie, how did Miss Sandy do? How was the night at Sandy's house? And she was like, oh, it was good. And Benny was there, and we ended up falling asleep on the sofa together. And then I was like, y'all feel asleep? And she's like, yeah. And then she's like, the more time I spend with other guys, all I could do is think about Vince. And so Nova told her, that's normal. That's to be expected. Oh, yeah, girl, because you didn't let that good old fly man down to Chicago. He done came looking for y'all down through the deep south, and he couldn't find you. Then you send him back to Chicago. I mean, Benny Cupid, he ain't Vince fine. Anywho, girl. So Nova told her, you on an adventure, girl. Just let it see where it take you, where it leads you. Get your life, all that. So then, and Vi in the kitchen cutting up veggies, y'all. She cutting up the head of lettuce. She finna get a phone call down from the hospice. It's Jimmy Dale. He didn't put her down as the next of kin, and he want to talk to her and see her. And Vi like, I ain't got time for this, and we don't. Like, sorry, Jimmy Dale, you got to go. Bye. We don't have the time to deal with you, especially the likes of you. Okay. So then, she found out Jimmy Dale was dying, and so, and Vi goes to tell Billie and sits her down and tells her like, Jimmy Dale's in hospice, and he's, they only said he got like a week to live, whatever they said. And so, no, the part that pissed me off, y'all, was Nova was like, because when Nova was first, and Vi was first telling Billie, and she's like, yeah, Jimmy Dale's in hospice, and Nova's like, what does that B want? What does that bastard want? What he want? And I'm like, girl, wasn't you writing about him in the book? Don't act all big and bad now on Aunt Vi's side when you expose all her secrets 2 seasons ago. Don't do that, Nova, because we ain't still forgave you for that book, but we want this movie deal. Darla, get together, girl. You didn't extort a chase for all the money, so you might as well do this book movie. Anyway, the final episode need to be the movie, okay? So anyway, then let's see, she told Billie, like, I had, because they was like, was you good, everybody? She's like, girl, I'm good. Like, I done already said to Jimmy Dale what I need to say to him. I didn't have my piece, but she's like, you haven't had your moment, Billie, and this might be a good idea and your chance to say what you need to say to Jimmy Dale to free yourself. And she let her know, just because I did that and that worked for me, that might not be exactly what you need to do and what works for you. Like, you got to do what works for you with your healing, but that's what worked for her. I like the way Aunt Vi had put that to her, right? So then, Darla's hearing all this from across the room, and she going through it, and she running the kitchen crying. So then she running the kitchen, she's shaking and crying and stuff. And Vi coming there like, girl, what's wrong with you? And Vi is doing all the healing work of the Lord in this episode, right? So then, and Vi's like, girl, what's up? Darla, explains to Aunt Vi what happened about Chase calling her and saying he looking for her and all that stuff. And she's like, I want to tell Ralph Angel, but I don't know what he would do, and this would really break us, and I just don't know what to do. And she's like, what you were saying about facing your fears, and she's like, you faced your fears. And then Vi kind of gave her the similar spiel, like, what worked for me may not work for you. You got to do what's going to help you and free you. And she was like, like, I want to be free. I want to take my power back, and I need to tell Ralph Angel, and I just don't know what to do. And Vi was like, oh, baby, I'm so sorry. And she told her to take her time coming out, like, figure out what she needs to do for her, basically. Okay. So then back down to the farm. The farmer who been giving us all the hell, I think his name is Harvell. He was like, you know what? I didn't really understand the point of the co-op. I was bucking against y'all the whole time. And now I understand that we really are stronger together, the way y'all came and y'all got together, y'all helped me out, and y'all ain't even got a farm of your own, and you still came and helped to save my farm and my land. Like, I finally get what you're trying to do. And he was like, I'm learning so much from you, Ralph Angel, just like I learned a lot from your dad. And you reminded me of your dad so much right now. He's like, it's nothing better than to be able to call you a friend. And so he tried to shake his hand, they hugged it out, and I was like, finally, he get it together. Because y'all remember he had a bad attitude all up and through about the co-op. So anyway, so he happy. He said thank you. They said put all the sandbags down, got the land together, y'all. So then back at the diner, everybody having lunch, having a good time. Benny asked Joaquin how his dad is doing. He's like, your dad taught me everything I need to know about farming. And Joaquin needed that little like positive lift me up. And Hollywood told Benny, thank you for talking to Joaquin. He was like, oh, there's no problem, man. Like anytime. And Hollywood saying, yeah, all these things these kids had to go through. And Benny's like, I couldn't have survived. Like if I had to be a kid growing up in this time, like it would be really difficult for me. And so, Holly was like, yep, that's right. That's why I got to keep him close. So you can tell Hollywood is, loving being a father figure to the boys, right? So then Darla looking all around for Ralph Angel, like, where Ralph Angel at? Where Ralph Angel at? So then she can't get him because the cell tower's down, y'all. They got bad reception from the storm over there. So then, she's like, I can't reach him. They're like, do y'all know where he went? They were like, he said everybody come to the diner. Like, he couldn't have went far. So then Darla's like, so then Micah kind of made like a little weird shrug and movement. Darla was like, what is that? So then Micah was like, I need to talk to you. He's like, yeah, this dude named Chase came down to the farm and he was looking for you. And Ralph Angel beat him up pretty bad and all this stuff. So then Darla's like, oh my gosh. So she tried to call Ralph Angel. She still can't get Ralph Angel down to the farm, to the diner. So then she like told her, give me your keys. And they're like, what's going on? She told Micah to tell him what's happening. Micah told him the guy that hurt Darla came to the farm last night. So then Darla ran outside. Ralph Angel's truck wasn't there. Hollywood told her, he's not here. She's still trying to get him. The cell towers are still down, y'all. So then Hollywood, Darla was like, oh, I can't reach him. And he's like, where else do he go? And so then she was like, all he do is go to work and take care of his family. And he just thinks about us. And, this has happened and I kept this from him and I shouldn't have done that. And it's not good. And so Holly was like, it's not good when y'all keep secrets from each other, like from both of y'all. And so she's like, but this is worse. And he's like, he's kept plenty of secrets from you too. And which he has, but he did tell her Chase came down there last night. So that's why I said they got the same freaking secret. Darla and Ralph Angel annoy the hell out of me with them damn secrets because they be keeping a secret be about the same thing. Like in this episode, Chase. They both encountered Chase. If they would both told each other about Chase, we wouldn't be here. Okay. So anyway, and Hollywood just basically gives Darla uplifting words in that moment. That was a really good scene. And Darla was telling Hollywood, like, he's such a good man. He thinks of us. He does all this. And Hollywood said, I know you, out of everybody in this family, I know you better except for Ralph Angel. Like, I've seen you at your highs and your lows. Because Darla was saying, like, I just want to put the past behind me. I just want to run for the past. And Hollywood is like, you have. Like, I've seen you at your worst and worst when I wouldn't go get you. And he was like, you a fighter. You've been strong. He's like, I pray for you then. And I pray for you every day. Like, you got this. You are strong. You are doing the darn thing. Like, don't worry. And so Darla was like, thank you. I know. And I needed to hear that. So then the storm cloud, the thunder started happening. She said, Ralph Angel at the pool. Now, I don't know how it clicked for her in her mind that he was at the pool, but she knew he was at the pool, y'all. So then, let's finish up this Ralph Angel part. Then we're going to get to Billie. Because Billie, that was a good scene with Billie. So anyway, Ralph Angel was down to the pool. Looked like he had been crying to me, y'all. Did he look like he was crying to y'all? So then, he was like, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, I wanted to tell you, but I was scared what you would do. And she's like, why you didn't tell me Chase came by last night? And he said, I beat him up pretty good. If it wasn't for Micah being there, I would have killed him. And, part of me doesn't feel bad or any shame about that. Like, I wanted to kill him. He was like, last night I was looking at this man that looked just like I see my son in him. And it's the same man that assaulted my wife. I was like, oh. That was tough. And Chase do look like Blue, y'all. He do look like Blue, too. I was like, dang it, Ralph Angel, you right. And so everybody was doing their best acting in this episode, y'all. Let me know if y'all agree in the comments. They was doing their best acting, right? So then Darla was saying, she get on to say, he doesn't, basically she tried to say he wasn't going to have no parental rights. Ralph Angel's like, you can't guarantee that. But let me back up. So first, Darla was saying, like, I know I should have told you, but he was calling me. I didn't know what to do. And, I was in DC Blue 2 weeks ago. Ralph Angel was like, 2 weeks ago. And so then she was like, yeah, and I ran to a friend, and she put two and two together, and she contacted him, and then I just didn't know what to do. And so then Ralph Angel was like, Blue, what about Blue? What about Blue? And so then she was like, my mom has Blue, like she got it on lock, she got it secure. And he's like, what if he wants to, share? Didn't he's like, what if he wants to share custody to me? Like, I'm not sharing custody with my son. Like, I'm not doing it. And she was like, oh, he's I'm gonna say the R word, and he assaulted me. He doesn't have any rights. And Ralph Angel was like, the law ain't gonna see it that way. And Ralph Angel's right. Like, Darla, come on. They don't care how he made the baby with you. At the end of the day, he still would have his parental rights if he wanted them. And so Darla's like, I promise you, he would not be able to take him from you. I promise you that is not going to happen. He will not be seeing him, all this stuff. And he was like, you cannot promise me that. You cannot guarantee me that. And she can't. I don't even know why she was saying that. Like, how you going to say what he going to do, Darla? You can't make that promise, girl. That was making no sense to me. And so then she was like, well, you know what? I will go public with this. I will expose him to his job, to his constituents, his wife, his family, everybody. I will, basically ruin his life. And so Ralph Angel's looking like, Darla, like, come on, girl. He was like, I love you, but you couldn't even handle Nova's book. Like, are you sure about this? She was like, yes, I'm sure. Like, I'm ready. And she seemed very confident in herself, like, she's ready to basically take her power back and tell her short story. She's like, I'm ready to tell my story, tell my truth. Okay. So anyway, back down to Nova house, right? Another person ready to tell their truth. Nova asked Billie how she's feeling, and she said, she thought about this day so many times and played it in her head so many times, and she's lost a lot due to what Jimmy Dale did to her. He tried to assault her as well, the R word as well. And so now that Tammy Townsend, I remember seeing her in different shows growing up. I remember her in Family Matters. I remember, what was that one? I can't think of that other show she was in, and movies she's been in and things like that. But she did her best acting in this episode of Queen Sugar. Shout out to Tammy Townsend, because that was a powerful monologue she delivered. So she was saying, when she was younger, she had all these hopes and dreams of being a lawyer and being all this stuff. And Jimmy Dale was the first person to really believe in her, believe that she could do it. And he even had a nickname for her, Billie D. Esquire. And so, he was like the first person to encourage her to chase her dreams and everything like that. And then when he tried to assault her, everything changed for her. And that's why she felt like she lost a lot. She was like, then she felt like, still believing those dreams made her feel dirty and it was wrong and all this stuff. So she just threw all that stuff away. And so that's why she didn't pursue the life that she really wanted to. And she said she's tried to deal with this issue in her own way already. So Nova was basically like, she could tell like Billie was going through in that moment. So she was like, basically tell me what you would tell him. So she was like, basically like, she gonna be Jimmy Dale. Like, tell me what you would tell him in this moment. And she said, basically, like, you are a thief, you are a liar, like, you stole from me my dreams, you did this to me, you did that to me, and you do not get to do that to me, you do not get to do that to me and get away with it, you will not rest in peace. Like, she was just going off. When I tell y'all, I was in, like, for real serious tears. Like, was y'all in tears in that scene? Because I was like, why am I crying? Like, I don't know, she had me all emotional on that scene. She had me toe up. That was a good scene, very, very healing scene. I pray if anybody has went through anything similar to what Billie or Darla has went through, or any kind of trauma like that, that scene was encouraging to y'all, to us, for healing, because it definitely was encouraging to me. So anyway, let's see. Now Micah went back home, and Zane, he looking at the pictures he took, because he took pictures of everything that was happening with getting the co-op together and the flood and everything. And so he's looking at his pictures. Zane sent him a tired text, I'm sorry, bro, blah, blah, blah. And so he didn't even respond, and he decided to call his mom. She didn't answer. And so he, gave her an apology over the voicemail and said that, he's sorry for the picture he put up. He got caught up. He was trying to be popping. He was looking at the wrong things and all this stuff. I was like, this apology kind of tired. Like, I need you to tell your mama this, like, on the FaceTime at least. Like, come on. But it was good enough. At least Micah apologized, right? We'll take what we can get from the young folk. Anyway, y'all. So, let's see. Then at the house, we have, let's get back to Nova and Billie. So Nova and Billie down to Prosper's house. I don't know where, I think Prosper was still out of town or something. Child, Prosper ain't coming back. I think he might have passed away in real life, but I'm not 100% sure. If y'all know the actor that played Prosper, if he did pass away or not, drop it in the comments. Anyway, Billie got her feet up on her daddy table, and I'm like, girl, you know better. Like, you grew up in the South. Like, come on. Like, I grew up on the West Coast. I wouldn't put my feet on nobody's table. Like, her nasty old feet on the table. So anyway, they was eating popcorn or nuts or something, y'all. Peanuts, I don't know. And so then they were talking and everything, catching up. And so Nova was saying something about the high school sweethearts. Her name Tammy, I think. And so about the restaurant her and her dad owned or something the dad owned, and how she was always trying to get a vegan option or vegetarian option on the menu, and the her high school sweetheart girl she liked would make her grilled cheese and fried onion sandwich, and that would be all she could think about. And Billie's like, is that all you could think about? And so Billie's like, sure you can't think of Tammy either? And she was like, yeah. And so Billie basically told her, like, okay, if you want closure with that situation, or you want to be able to talk to her, like, why don't you do the same thing? She was like, you did good with the Calvin situation, and you're able to, stand your boundaries and stuff. So she was like, why don't you face your fears in that situation as well? Now, I didn't understand what situation you don't need to face, because she said that was the summer that changed everything for her. And so, I don't know what that quite means. Is that the summer she discovered she liked women too? Like, I don't know. So Nova's like, if that's the summer that changed it. I mean, Billie's like, is that the summer that changed everything for you? Then why don't you go ahead and deal with that as well? And so then Nova's like, okay, Yana. She was like, Billie's like, yes, beloved. So I'm like, don't do Yana, y'all. So Nova gonna go see the girl. Let me just finish this storyline because it was irrelevant to me. So Nova goes to the girl's restaurant. Now, the way she walked up on her, the girl didn't see her for like a good minute or two. I'm like, how'd she not see her? But anyway, the girl was basically like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry about your dad dying. He would come to the restaurant, and he had even told me you lived in New Orleans, and he had given me your number. He told me to call you. And she's like, really? And so, yeah, and she was like, yeah. And she's like, well, you never called. And she's like, life got in the way, work, kids, wife, and all this stuff. So I don't know if that girl has a wife or if she means she's a wife. We're going to figure that out, right? So anyway, and so she was like, also, I didn't think you wanted to hear from me because the way you ghosted that summer. And so Nova was like, yeah, that was, a lot of things happening at that time. She was like, I would love to be able to talk to you, sit down and talk to you and explain myself what happened. And so then the girl's like, okay, you got a pen? And then so they took each other's number down. And then Nova looked into her eyes and she was like, please call me this time. The girl's like, okay, I will. So we're going to see, they saw show the previews. They're going to be hanging out next week, y'all. I'm like, I guess we could just forget it with Dominic. Like, y'all, it's just... No, but just send Dominic on back to us. It looks like you finna get back together with your high school sweetheart, really. So that's fine, Nova girl. Like, we tried with you. But anyway. But, I mean, if she happy with the high school sweetheart, we ain't mad at it. Just bring Dominic on back over here to us. So then, okay, so let's get back to the whole Darla. Or no, I'm sorry. Let's get to Hollywood and Vice. Hollywood and Vice home. They like, ooh, the day was tired. They're thankful to God. So they sit down with the boys. They about to say prayers and whatnot. Then they about to have a good old meal, y'all. And they get a knock on the door. So I'm like, damn it, who is it now? Because everybody's showing up from the past. I'm like, who knocking on the door now? I think it's going to be CPS worker lady. She finna ruin the night. She finna ruin the whole episode. Thank God it was somebody good. It was the daddy, Ignacio. I was like, oh, he's finally home. So he came, he was eating up all the food. He was like, y'all don't even know what y'all taking care of these boys, what they did for me. And Vi and Hollywood, like, we happy to be able to do it. And they offered him, to stay there. But he's like, no, the nonprofit that's helping him with the case. Has a motel for him to stay in for a little while, and he's going to use that time to like kind of catch up and get, his life back on track. I guess probably find a job and stuff. And so he said he wants some alone time with the boys, and he's looking forward to that. So the boys get their backpacks and stuff together, and they leave with Ignacio, and they, they hug everybody in Hollywood. You could tell they were sad to leave. But if I told Joaquin, I almost called him San Joaquin because that's the area I live in. So every time I hear Joaquin or think of Joaquin, I think of like the area where I live. Anyway, then while she told Joaquin, she gonna see him down to the diner at work, so don't be tripping. And so Hollywood told Dante, I'm still need you to help me fix the boat and all of that. And so they left, and it was sad. That was sad. When they left, oh, y'all, that was sad. That hurt me. And so, they were like, yeah, we knew this day was coming. We prayed for it for the boys' sake. But I was like, but it still hurts so bad. Oh, I knew that hurt them. Because they had just kind of like got into it, and they had kids, and they were in the routine. And, Invite Hollywood are used to taking care of people. But, maybe they'll have a baby of their own. No, they ain't going to have a baby of their own, y'all. Please. But, they could go sail in the sunset on the boat together. They did what God intended them to do, right? So then, I think we done covered everything, y'all. Let's get into the best part of the freaking episode, y'all. So it looked like they were at the men's spot to me. Let me know what y'all think. To me, that's where it looked like they were at. So Darla's there. Chase come through. He was like, oh, I'm glad you decided to meet, but I just, want to get this over with. I don't want no trouble. Let's just get this done. Da, da, da. So then Ralph Angel come through. He's like, you still ain't learned your lesson, huh? And so then Chase is like, oh, I don't want no trouble. I don't want no problems, man. I just came to talk to her and get everything situated. He's like, mm-hmm. So then Darla said, Ralph Angel's here to make sure you don't do anything to me. And she said, and Hollywood's here to make sure that Ralph Angel don't do nothing to you. And then she said, and well, Aunt Vi's here. And so Aunt Vi was like, me, I'm just, I'm a non-qualified, like, anything can happen with me. But Aunt Vi basically said, like, you don't know how I'm going to do. Like, I'm wild. I'm nuck if you buck. Like, she ready. She's sitting on ready, basically. So he was like, okay, well, I don't want no problems. Like, you just signed this NDA and we could be out, we could be done. So then she was like, I'm not signing an NDA. Like, no. She's like, actually, you going to be signing some papers. She took out her paperwork, y'all. And she said, you going to sign the papers that say they give up all the paternity rights and you will not be ever trying to get any parental rights in perpetuity. I said, come through with your documents and your legal terms, Darla. Come through. So then he was like, what? I already told you, like, the kid ain't mine, da-da-da-da-da. So then she was like, fine, then we don't need to do paternity tests and you're going to sign these papers. And he's like, fine, whatever. So he decided to sign the papers. So then she said, you also going to sign this custody thing saying you stay away from me and my kids and my family, you not harass us. And then this is a 5-day, basically like a 5-day, like a not a restraining order, but basically a 5-day civil court order until she can get the case file saying that he will stay away from her and her family as well. So then he's like, no, I already told you I don't want to get the courts involved. Like, we not doing this. I already told you. And so then he going off again. So then he was like, anyway, like, we don't need to be doing this. Like, I don't understand. Like, the kid ain't mine. Like, I didn't do anything to you. And so then she was like, first of all, like, ain't nobody gonna believe you. Like, she started yelling at him. She was like, you are a liar and the R word. And you did this to me and that to me. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, he was like, I didn't do anything to you. Plus, I wasn't the only one. So then Ralph Angel knocked his butt out as he deserved. And so Hollywood grabbed Ralph Angel. He's like, look, man, stop. It ain't worth it. And he's like, let Darla handle this. She handled this. Look at her. She's fine. And so then and Vi looked at him and said, nobody like you here. Now, why don't you go and sign your paperwork? I'll make sure you get out of here safely. I said, I know that's right. She said, no, nobody like you here. Okay. So Darla said, if you don't sign this stuff, like, I'm going to go public with the case. She also wanted him to say, wanted him to sign. I'm sorry. She also had some paperwork for him to sign that said, so he signed the case one because after that punch, he learned his lesson. So then she said, you also will be making a large donation to the Black Farmers Co-op in St. Josephine of $250,000. And then you will also, and she said they got wire transfer instructions on the paperwork, and you also will be making a $25,000 a month payment for the next 10 years. So then he was like, what? That's going to be like $3 million? No, like, he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And so she was like, okay, if you don't do that, then I'm going to go public with my story. And so he said, oh, you're going to do that? You're going to, tell on yourself? You're going to out yourself like that? And she was like, what? I did nothing wrong. I was a young woman at a party. It doesn't matter if I was on drugs. It doesn't matter if I was drinking. It doesn't matter if I was, dancing on you suggestively. It doesn't matter how I was dressed. I was at a social event. I was trusting the people I was with, and I was taking advantage of. And he's like, anyway, you're not going to be able to prove it. Like, who's going to believe you? You're not going to be able to prove it. So then they had it recorded of when they started piping up at each other. And he said, I wasn't the only one when she called him a liar and R word. So he admitted to it. And Hollywood had the recording. So then he looked stupid. And then Vi looked at him like, yeah, you better sign that paperwork. And so then he signed it. And she said, and you can go now. She was like, and bye-bye. Okay? I said, come through Darla. Darla took all her power back. Okay? This episode was so good, y'all. Y'all drop it down in the comments. Let me know what y'all thought of it. Let me know y'all predictions for the rest of the season. We already on episode 8. I'm not sure how many episodes we gonna get. We still look for Parker's mama, though. Where is Parker's mama? And I don't know where the hell is Dominic. So we got to figure all that out, y'all. But I'm sure we will. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to let me know what y'all thought of the episode. And I will definitely talk to y'all soon. Let me know if I missed something as well, y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.